Well, well, what do you know? Another beautiful day in the neighborhood, by golly. We're out here taking her easy. Was watching a little bit of Little House on the Prairie in there on the TV. So I thought, well, hey, why don't I take these dogs for a walk? I had to get this one out the door first, I guess. Come on, you old turkey. Come on, Pee-Pee. Come on, let's go take a walk. All right. Take these dogs for a little walk. I could use some exercise myself. I've been trying to change my ways and get a little healthier and cut down on my carbs and stuff like that. Got a craving for some tasty bread all the time. But I thought, well, hey, take a walk and give some info out to your friends out there on these flintlocks and black powder, since that seems to be my thing. I've been kind of into it for about, I'd say about 3 years I've been into it. I first got introduced into muzzle loading, but never really had much to do with it other than a friend had gotten a deer with one, and we might have shot it 1 or 2 times. It was like a Hawkins rifle or something like that, probably about a 50 caliber, somewhere in there. Many years ago, probably back in the late 70s, early 80s, somewhere in there. But they had muzzleloader season, all that kind of stuff around. I never did do any muzzleloader hunting, nothing like that. And years later, my dad, he was trying to quit smoking and all that kind of stuff, and I showed him a pamphlet for some, I think they're Pirelli, like 1861 black powder Western pistols and stuff like that. And they were, at that time, that would have been like in the early 90s, I would say, and somewhere in that nature. And at that time, you could buy one of those for like $100, and they're like $250, $300 now. But you could get one for like $99, $79. They were really cheap coming out of Italy. And he said, well, hey, I quit smoking. What I save in cigarettes, I can buy one of them pistols. So he ended up getting him a nice collection of those pistols. And he enjoyed it. And he took me out one time and had me shoot the 6-shooter. But he was into making it really hard and difficult, because he was following all the procedures of that stuff. He was cleaning them and baking them in the oven to dry them out and doing all that stuff. He ended up giving me one. So I got it, kept it, got it all nice. It's as good as the day as I got it. Really loved that thing. Didn't really want to shoot it, mess it up, or take a chance and mess it up, because it's something my dad gave me. So I was looking online, I found a couple Western grip ones just like it, without the engraving and everything on it, because that was like a Navy and it's all engraved. And I think it was like $179 for EMF, early military firearms, something like that. And I got them for like $168 for a couple of them with the gunfighter grips. So I had those, and you can look back through my videos, you'll see where I shot them dudes a little bit, played around with them. So I started working on trying to get my son to do it. I thought he might find it interesting. Went to a gun store. They had tons and tons of SKSs and stuff like that. A lot of times when I look at what I paid for these flintlocks and stuff like that, it's like, wow, I could have got a Glock for that, you know, modern firearm. So it's like, man, it's a lot of money to spend for an old antique like that. It's a replica, you know, it doesn't have the value of the antique. So, but I love them, and it's what you like that's important in life. What makes you happy. If you're happy with that, so what? You could have got a Glock. They don't do you any good laying in the gun safe anyway, do they? So why not play with the old stuff that you can learn a lot from, and it's more enjoyable for you to do. And if you really try not to make it really hard on yourself, because it can be. And we started from scratch, because I got a percussion rifle, Kentucky flintlock. Well, it's not flintlock, but this percussion looked at the flintlocks, but I deemed them too dangerous. I was scared of them. So I didn't get one of those. And I got the percussion one. Well, my son, he shows up with a couple flintlocks. He gives me one. Says, "Here, Dad, this is for you." And then, of course, the addiction took off from there. And I started getting into them. We started from the bottom of the barrel, not knowing anything. So what do we get? We get Pyrodex. You can buy that at your gun store. You want to use nothing in these except black powder. So we got the black powder Pyrodex, the knockoff that they say is a propellant and not an explosive. Black powder is an explosive apparently, and Pyrodex is a propellant. So we got that, and we tried using that. Oh my goodness, what a fiasco. It would have been fun to film, because them things wouldn't go off. Them flintlocks do not like Pyrodex in the pan whatsoever. And of course the prices on gunpowder has gotten ridiculous. Comes down to getting you a pound. I was at Walmart, looked around, $52 for a pound of black, I think it was Schutzen, I believe it was in there. That's crazy. 52 bucks just for the powder. Well, you can make your own powder, but the problem with that stuff, a lot of times, unless you really got it down pat, is it just doesn't meet the standards of Schutzen, Goex, and Swiss. Just doesn't meet the standards of those powders. No matter what you do, you're not going to get that quick as flash as what you get out of them consistently. Now, sometimes you can, like one batch will do pretty good, and next batch don't do so good. And I think you're allowed to only have under a pound of homemade powder. So you just make a half a pound, shoot it up, and then you can make you another half a pound or whatever. But I think maybe you could use it down in the barrel and then get you some commercial grade, Schutzen or whatever, if your powder's not real super snappy, and put that in your pan and use that in the pan. That would be my recommendation. We have a little bit of stuff that I made. Works good for fireworks or something, or it's kind of like one of them. It just kind of burns pretty decent. I've tried it with ball milling, and I've tried it with mixing it like a cake. Done all kinds of stuff. I think your charcoal has to be just right. You got to have the right kind of wood, and it's got to have a certain carbonization to it to get it real snappy. I watched some people making some charcoal and stuff, so I got some ideas. So I'm going to kick through this half a pound that I made, and maybe I'll try another batch. A lot of people were pucking it and stuff like that. But yeah, you got to respect the stuff though, because it can be quite dangerous. When you're getting into homemade powder, you got to be extra careful that you don't have any ambers down the barrel, stuff like that. Safety is number one. Ear protection, eye protection, definitely something that you should use. I'm guilty of not using that myself. I always try to put some ear protection in. You dogs is ready to go in the house already? Yep, they're ready to go in the house. So, I've got another project coming up I want to try and film. Well, you see me shoot it on one of my videos if you watched it, where I got a rag with a piece of nylon rope tied on the barrel, and I'd shoot it out. Then I could find it pretty easy, unless it was smoking. Sometimes I dampen the cloth and get a little bit wet so it don't catch on fire and burn up on me, and then drain it real, make it dry, and then pack it down on top of the powder and crack it off. And that's what I was using when I was shooting at Hawkins. But I bought that thing, it didn't have a butt plate, so I found one on eBay, so I'm gonna be putting a butt plate on it. I'm gonna try to put that on a video when I do it. I think it's gonna look pretty cool when it gets done. It's supposed to be an original one off of one of those guns, which I thought I'd never find, but somehow or another, I just went on eBay and there it was. So I said, hey, let me put that on there, make it a little more decorative. But it's a percussion. I bought some caps from, you know, like you put on your toy guns. And I use those for percussion caps. They work pretty good. They'll go off most of the time. So I have some fun with those, and they're cheap. You get a whole pack of them for $1. And you can use those, but you probably want to keep a sewing needle with you, because sometimes you'll take that plastic from that cap, shove it right down into the nipple hole, and then you got to take it, get down there with the little needle, take that little sewing needle, stick it in there, and pop that little piece of plastic out, and you're good to go again. I used it on that percussion pistol because the nipples, it's just got one nipple, and it's not real sharp on the edges or nothing like that. And I haven't used them on the 1851s or them pistols. Lest I buy another set of nipples just in case, but I think the plastic is kind of soft, and the hammer comes up and hits it, it'll probably eventually flatten your nipples out, because they got some edge to them. And I think that plastic, it just cuts it off, and there's a few times that you get that plastic down in the hole, but it works pretty good. I guess it depends on your budget and what you can afford to do. That's the next thing. Everything's getting so expensive, you can't go out and enjoy yourself and have any recreation, nothing like that. The ammo and all that stuff is so expensive to go out and shoot. We went out and did some shooting, and I don't think we got to go 30 minutes before we just threw $80 worth of ammo. So it's like, wow, that's expensive. It adds up quick. It does, it really does. So we didn't learn a daggone thing. So we just made a bunch of noise. We had a terrible, terrible day of not being too accurate, showing that your skills for using a firearm diminishes for sure, because we was right on target, and then all of a sudden, well, we're doing something. I don't know if we're milking the grip or what we're doing. I think I stiff-armed it, because I ended up with a sore elbow. That's why I hadn't been getting out and cracking off the old muskets or anything, because my right elbow is stiff as a board, and those things got some weight to them. Might be after I play with them muskets, they got a heck of a trigger pull. It's heavy. I don't know what it is, but it's a heavy pull. It might be that, and then going to modern firearms just might have messed me all up. I don't know. Hey, I need to take and figure out what's going on. So I thought, well, I might not be as jumpy as what I was, but my finger on the trigger certainly is it's a little screwy, that's for sure. But it's a beautiful day here in August. We don't have a lot of locusts screaming. I hate them things in the summertime. They drive me nuts. I don't even think I hear one. I see where they laid their eggs in trees and stuff. I try to cut them out and haul them off somewhere. Get them locusts out of here. They're noisier than hell. Or maybe they ain't hatched out yet, but you get a few every year. But every 7 years, you get a whole slew of them, like they're everywhere. There's one year, well, a couple years that I remember, they was just everywhere. And around here, we didn't have too many, except across the road. We had a bunch. That's for sure. So, yep, nice to walk around out here, goof around, beautiful day. And I need the exercise. And I've been having all this, that, and the other thing. It seemed like, man, I'm falling apart here. Trying to get myself back in shape a little bit. Because everybody needs to do that and stay healthy. So you can enjoy your life. Your senior years, or your years in time isn't meant to be spent being sick and everything. So you got to look at the food industry, see what they're trying to feed you, and then adjust to get into some good stuff to make you healthier. I got into bodybuilding most of my life. I did a lot of that. That helped me out a lot, so I've done pretty good for the most part. That helps you stay healthy. I was sitting around there and watching the old TV, and it's like, dude, you need to get out and take a walk. Dog's done laid down. They're like kids, you know. You take kids to an event, whether it be a fair, festival, whatever, and you go walking around with them, and I can't walk anymore. I'm tired. My legs hurt. They got to sit down. So, okay, so you sit down. They won't sit down, what, 2 minutes? And then all of a sudden they're up roughhousing and trying to wrestle and all that kind of stuff. It's like, dude, I thought you was tired. You know, museums is really bad. You take them to a museum, go in there, they'll not want to walk around or nothing, but if you stop to read and everything, they'll start horseplay. No, horseplay ain't no place in a museum or someplace like that. Yeah, you know, somebody get hurt or something. You just don't do that. There's other people trying to enjoy themselves on vacations and stuff like that. You just don't do that kind of stuff. But, oh, hey, the old dog's walking right beside of me. We used to do that kind of stuff, didn't we? Didn't we, old Popsy? Didn't we, huh? Yes, we did. He'd walk along beside of me, and I'd walk a little bit. And he's a pretty well-trained pup. This other one, she's pretty good, too. They're quite the pair. I'm surprised they're walking with me again. I usually only take one walk. I was throwing on the old red coat and the old British stuff and taking them for a walk. I was looking at getting me an old drum, but I haven't managed to do that yet. But I got a new drum, and it plays just as good as an old one. Maybe I'll put some cloth on it and cover up its inappropriate time period appearance and use it. Yes, sir. I'll use that. There's a lot of pretty flowers and stuff out here that you can pick yourself a nice bouquet of wild flowers. They're kind of drying up now, but after it rained there for a while, it was in good shape. Yes, sir. We made a bouquet of flowers and took them in the house. That was nice. The old pups out here enjoying some exercise. It's good for them. It's good for me. This one old boy, he's doing pretty good. There for a while, we was worried about him, but we've been trying to keep him on vitamins. You know, if you got a dog and he don't see real good, he got eye trouble, the best thing you can do for him, get him a multivitamin, and it'll get rid of that glaucoma and them eye problems that the old pup's having. It'll help. They'll be able to get their vision will start coming back. I've seen it work on 2 dogs, and this one, and then my mom had one that was pretty much walking into walls and stuff. She started giving him vitamins. He got a lot better. He was able to find his food and everything. And at one point he couldn't even do that. So it helped out. So I guess, yes. The dogs are going up because the wife's home, and I guess they don't want to hang out with me no more. They're gonna go hang out with her. I didn't figure she'd be home that quick from going and taking care of whatever, because I thought they were gonna go buy some shoes and stuff, but apparently they decided not to. Oh well, that's the way it goes. So they can handle the dogs now, and they like to get underfoot. Butterflies flying around, yellow ones, really pretty butterflies everywhere. Grasshoppers. I mean, you just can't beat nature. It is beautiful. Every way you get back to God, our Lord in heaven. I always say the Lord's Prayer anytime my mind gets all trying to get empty, because you know what they say about idle hands are tools of the devil. So I fire that up in my head. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Fire that up and try to get it to run through my head like a broken record, like some of that music and stuff you listen to does. It drives you crazy. You got that beat stuck in your head, a boom, 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 boom. You can't get it out. Your mind's just rolling like a Rolodex. Try to put the Lord's Prayer in there, let that fire through there, and then see how you feel. You'll feel good. You'll say, dang, I feel amazing. Yep, works for me. That's the best thing I found to give me peace and happiness out here. Nice, beautiful clouds. Can you see all them clouds up there? I think maybe you can. Look, that's like a buzzard or something up there. Boy, that buzzard's way, 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 way up there. Yes, sir. Well, I guess I'm gonna go up to the house, end this video, about 20 minutes into a video here. I'll go and go in the house, take her easy. And I'll watch this later and say, oh man, and I'll be embarrassed. I'll be really embarrassed, especially with the yeah, I'll say, man, you did pretty good on some stuff, but then you deteriorate it in your video quality. But we're trying to keep it real. Keeping it real, boys, keeping it real. Like right here, I don't know if I can get this on camera, but if I can, that's a black butterfly there with little bits of yellow on him. He's a pretty fellow too. Yes, he is. So appreciation for the small things in life. That's for sure. This month has flew by. I mean, it has flew. Well, I hope everybody's having a great day. I'm gonna wrap this up. Go on up to the house, whip up some coffee. Maybe my better half brought me a sandwich or something home, huh? Something from KFC. I'll be all excited. Oh boy, KFC, yummy. And I'll dig into that. So, all right, man. Enjoy your day. Hope everybody's having a good time. See you later.